Hi everybody, this is Diane. Are you ready to craft along with me today? I hope you have some supplies out and that you are watching and listening to this while you do some crafting. Today we're going to work on some ephemera to go into this fun journal. I showed the beginning of this yesterday where I actually made the picture wheel to fit inside. The pictures would fit inside that. And we had a lot of fun with that, and after I turned the camera off, I constructed the cover and added that piece of sheet fabric or pillowcase fabric that I showed you, and added that really interesting kind of rickrack. And I think this part was all done. No, maybe it wasn't, because I had to add the fabric and the rickrack here. So I did add the last little pig. I know there's supposed to be 5, and I only have 4 of them represented in this book. But there's the little pig that said wee 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 all the way home. And at the bottom here it says copyright 1949, James and Jonathan Company, Kenosha, Wisconsin. So that's what I've got done to the cover so far. I'm going to put a pocket on the back here. But today we're just going to look at some ephemera. So I cut all these pages for the pages in the book, and there is scrapbook paper, the book pages. I cut some of the scrapbook paper smaller. I used some of the cutoffs actually and folded them into the book for small pages. I used those teacher planner books. Again, there's 2 different books, so each signature has a page from each book. And I'm going to add some wrapping paper. How can I not when I have Mother Goose nursery rhyme wrapping paper? I have been hoarding this. I have used it very, very sparingly, and these are the last big chunks of it that I have. So this is just the perfect book. If I'm going to hoard it, this is what I would be hoarding it for. So it's time to use it. So these are obviously vintage, and they are nursery rhyme wrapping paper pieces. Aren't they fun? And then I have this Kate Greenaway. This is more modern, but Kate Greenaway illustrated a lot of nursery rhymes also, so I thought this would be another fun piece to add. These are the pieces that came off the edge of the book. Like the golden books have the gold foil. This was on this Bonnie book, and I'm thinking I want to use pieces of that somehow to embellish. So I'm going to set that up there so I remember that it's there, hopefully. I went through some of my pre-made ephemera, and I pulled some pieces out that might go in the book, and also I used cut-off pieces of the paper and already created some ephemera, or I've got it started and we're going to finish it here. So there's quite a stack of ephemera. I know all of this won't go in this journal, but I pulled some out just in case. This is one that was already made, and it's just a booklet. But it's fun, the colors are great, and I would put a couple more things in that pocket, and that would be a fun booklet to include if I do. This is what's going to be on the back cover. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue these pieces down. Let me see. I'm wondering what color ink I would use. Let's see, I think I'll put the red one in the middle because that has a shorter, I cut that page short by mistake. I think I'll have this gold one in the back. So, but I've got pink here. I just feel like it's going to go on a kind of a bland background. I think this is the background paper that it's going to go on, so I want to put some color around the edge. I think I talked about gold and I talked about pink. I think I'm going to use blue though. I love this color, blue and pink together. So that's what we're going to do. I got out some digitals that I've had already printed for quite a long time, and I'm trying to use up some of the digitals that I have, you know, the little ephemera and journal cards and things, and that's one of them. So in recent journals that I've been making, I've really been pulling from my digital stash, things that were already printed. I like that this is a little bit bigger than the pocket. It's not contained in the within the size of the pocket, and I like that. It's cardstock, so it's okay if it sticks up a little bit. Might as well put it in. Glue it right down. And then, of course, I'll put a card in there. But for now, I'll just set it aside. Okay, what's next? I just have things all piled up here. I have the journal cards on top. So this one was in my stash. It's a Mrs. Cog digital, and it was one that I had glued coffee dyed scraps of paper to the back of it, and then I just added this little piece that I had stamped. So that would be a cute card. This was already in my stash. This was cut out of a book. And this is one I made with cutoff pieces. I just took a long wide strip. It was 12 inches long, and it's 4.5 inches wide. And I just folded it in a tri-fold, rounded the corners, and added this piece, which I had in my stash already cut. And then I had a set of these really cute animal cards, and I thought they'd be perfect in the nursery rhyme journals. So I think I'm using up the rest of them. I think I had 2 of the dog, so I may have 1 dog left. But that's the last of these, and I think I had printed them twice, so I had 2 of each one to begin with. So I'm glad to be able to use them, and I think this is a perfect vehicle for them. So I only had the one doily cut, but because I had that cut, it just reminded me that I could cut some more. I had that one, and it worked perfectly, so I just, before I started the video, went in the office and cut 2 more doily shapes, and I use scraps of paper. I also have the scraps from the other little book that I had just made with the hole that went all the way through. So some of these scraps are from that book. So I am going to round the corners. Here it is. Just put those two corners together because it punches better. Get rid of some of those corners. It punches better when you have doubled paper, if you're punching a thin paper. And I put the wider piece on the outside. If you've watched my channel for a while, you have probably seen some of the chocolate journals that I've made. I wouldn't have thought of making chocolate journals except for book covers that I had one in particular, when I saw it, I thought I have to make a chocolate themed journal with that. And then I had other ones too. So I've made chocolate journals. I don't know how many I've made at this point, but a few, and at least one smash book. And you probably have heard me speak of my friend Nancy. She lives in Canada, in Ontario province, and she let me know that she is working on a chocolate themed journal right now. So there are videos on her channel. Her channel is Wishes and Weeds. She is an excellent crafter. She makes junk journals, and they're beautiful. They're not really junk. They're beautiful. But she only uses thrifted finds. She doesn't buy new, at least not very often, and she doesn't use digitals. Anyway, she needs more subscribers on her channel. She should have a lot more subscribers because her channel is good. Her things are good, and she does fantastic hauls. And I love to watch her hauls. She goes to estate sales and thrift stores. They are so cute. So I'm telling you all this. I will link her channel below. She has nothing to do with what I'm doing here. She didn't ask me to promote her, but it's fun to watch her work on the chocolate journal, and I just think you would enjoy it. If you haven't gone to check out Wishes and Weeds, I think you should. So there you go. I plugged you, Nancy. This one is the wider flap, so I'll put that on the outside. Just make sure all the little pieces are poked out here. I love this little die. It works so well, and it's just very pretty and very, I don't know, you can use it in a lot of different styles, and versatile. That's the word I was trying to think of. It's versatile. One thing I was going to tell you about the wheel that I put on the front cover was after I turned the camera off, I thought it was turning loose, like it turned too easily and wouldn't stay in place. So I took it back off and I punched, I don't know, a 1 inch or 1.5 inch circle. Doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter because it couldn't show above the hole. But anyway, I punched that a little circle out of cardstock and punched a hole in the center of that, and used it as kind of like a washer to kind of keep the spinny mechanism a little bit tighter hopefully it helped a little bit. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. I'm not going to take the wheel apart, but I just wanted to let you know that that is part of the apparatus now, and we'll see if it helps. If I still think it's too loose, I might try a second, like make the washer bit a little bit thicker. So now I have 3 of these little pieces, so each signature can have one of those little trifolds. So between this, there's this, and then the cardboard, the book, and then the small circle is underneath here, and then this. So the small circle is in there, but it has to be small so that it didn't stick up above that window and show. But I think it helped. It still moves very easily, so that's why I'm wondering if I feel like it's gotten too loose, I might try a second one, but it's better than it was anyway. Let's see what's next in our pile. This was in my stash already done, and I think it's adorable. This could be a little pocket. This was a card someone sent me in a Happy Mail, something that she made, and I love the colors, and she cut each shape, and they're not layered on top of each other. They are fitted up against each other, so I don't know how she did that. It was like a puzzle that fit together. And I think it's beautiful, and she inked around each little piece before she glued it down. So this card has been in my stash for a while. I took one of those animal digitals and sewed it on, and this will be a pocket. Here's another fun pocket. This was a cutoff piece, and this is the perforated strip on it. And of course, I didn't want the perforation to weaken it, but I liked the way it looked on there as a little embellishment, so I just took another piece of the perforated strip and glued it over the perforation. And then, because there's a spinning wheel on the front cover, I put a Viewmaster reel. This does not spin. I backed it with a die cut circle that I had, and this really fun paper clip holds it, or brad holds it together. But I glued this down on it to, because you're going to put stuff in, and I didn't want it catching on the brad. And so it doesn't spin, but it's just for looks, and I just think it's fun because of the wheel on the front cover. So I'm going to make another pocket like that, but without the Viewmaster reel. Oh, I was going to look this up. I have a bunch of fussy cuts. This again is the perforated part, so I'm going to glue this on that. I got a bunch of fussy cuts of these like 1950s animals and children. I love, love, love that look of that era. And I can't remember the name of the Etsy shop, but I will link the shop below. I won't link the particular kits because I have more than one here. So I will link the shop. And I'm using some of those images in this book. If you've ever seen Kitty Witty Papercraft making things, I don't know what her first name is, I forgot. But she uses images like this, so I went looking for them. And she does have some digitals. Kitty Witty Papercrafts has some digitals from the 1950s, but I just love her aesthetic. But I love so many different aesthetics. I can't stick to just one, which is why I have so many supplies. I need certain supplies for bohemian look, certain supplies for shabby chic, for the eclectic journals, I like them all. So that's why I struggle so much with having so much stuff. And that will be a fun pocket. Let me see if I can embellish with a little number or something. I got some numbers out of my stash just to add a little something. I like that. It's good enough, right? That black stands out against all the color. I believe that I cut these with my Cricut ages ago. And they're really nice. I should cut some more and maybe cut them a little bigger. So there's a pocket. And then I have some tags. Some of the tags are made with my cut-off pieces. I used 3 pieces of a sturdier cardstock on the one on the front of each signature. So I used those sturdier pieces to make a tag. So this one, I took just a paper scrap and made a pocket. So just remember that's just a thin paper, just a scrapbook paper. It's not super thin. This is a Tim Holtz tag. I've had these in my stash for a while and I figured it's about time to use them. So that is a perfect fit in there. But here's another of the 50s designs. And I'm going to add that to the pocket. The children, I just glued that boy and girl to the front of that pocket that I just did. That set comes with 2 different sizes of each image. I don't know how many sets of children I bought. I don't remember if they're all one set. I know the animals are different. And then there's Easter fussy cuts, which I got because, and this might be one of those, because they don't all have to be Easter, like this one. It's just a bunny with a flower cart. He doesn't have to be Easter. That hangs off a little bit, so I'm just going to trim that. And then I thought I had this piece stamped. It was just laying on my table. Thought I would just put that on there for something to fill the space up here. And I'll probably sew some lace or ribbon. I don't really want to punch a hole because the paper, even though it is a cardstock, it's a lightweight cardstock. And you know, something might pull through the hole, even with a reinforcement. So I think I'll just sew some lace up there. Here's another one. I sewed the pockets on. I did whatever sewing I needed to do before I started the video. This is part of the scrapbook paper. It just looks like lined paper. It's this one. It has the numbers on one side and it's just lined on the other side. So this could provide some journaling. So I just added this small piece of a fussy cut so you still have room to journal. So this one is also in a larger size in the kit, I believe. And again, I have another stamped piece I can add. And I will sew some lace to the top, put a fiber or a ribbon or something in there. And that's a cute little tag too. These are very simple embellishments. I just sat here with all my cut-off pieces and pulled out things like this and then tried to put them together. This tag is different. It is copy dyed. Most of the things in this book are not going to be copy dyed. But this was already copy dyed, and it's this tag that came like this. It came with envelopes. Apparently you were supposed to make cards out of it. But I just glued a scrap of paper here and added this fussy cut element, and it was a little bit torn here, so I added another little strip there. And on the inside, I'm just going to trim it to fit. I made a pocket. So you would be able to write on this and write on whatever I tuck into this pocket. And I think I just want to add these little chicks, another background paper and these chicks. This probably came from the Easter digital fussy cut kit, but they don't have to be Easter. They're just little chicks. I'm just going to measure the size of this piece. It's almost 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. Oh, I forgot. I was going to glue this little piece onto that pocket. I just saw this on my table and thinking, what was that supposed to go on? I'm going to trim a tiny bit off. Cute. I love these images. So I'll have to put something in that pocket. And I have more tags here. These I just pulled from my stash, so they might go in and they might not. I just thought they were cute. This one is multiple tags put together with a ring, but this is the only one that's decorated. And then this one. So I just have 2 more tags to decorate. Oh, this one, I just sewed that card on. And I had this out, but I'm not really totally happy with that. It's just a shape that I punched and had stamped some numbers on. Let's see if I have something that looks better. That looks better already. I'm really getting some mileage out of this. This is a very old Stampin' Up! Set of papers, and there were 2 sheets, 12 by 12 sheets with these numbers, and 2 of them that have just brown and cream colored numbers. And I still have bits of them, and I've had it for years. But I love using it. Here's another one. Maybe that color works better. I don't know. I think I just like that one. I think I like the black against the colorful background. And then I will make some fabric flips with that fabric I showed you yesterday with the bonnet girls. And then I'll be able to start putting the book together. I've already started collating the pages, but I've got more to add. But I'll be able to start adding the pockets and embellishments to the pages. This is just cut from a scrap of paper that I had. It's actually Easter paper from Authentique. So I'm going to put something on the back to cover that, and something you can write on. It's just a little girl holding a lamb. So you can imagine that this nursery rhyme might be Mary Had a Little Lamb or Little Bo Peep. Let me see what scraps I have that I can maybe add to the back. I think that'll work. I'm just going to round this corner because it's right there with that rounded part. Oh, I guess I need to round the bottom corner too. Let's see, can I put this on here? Last week and over the weekend we had, for the last couple of weeks actually, we had temperatures below zero. Like overnight and during the day. Not every day, but it was cold. And yesterday it was almost 50. So everything's melting. I keep thinking it's raining because I hear the dripping, melting stuff. So I'm glad stuff is melting. Valentine's Day is just a few days away, and I always feel like when we hit Valentine's Day that spring is just around the corner. Of course, we will have more snow. We often get a huge snowstorm in March. Wasn't quite lined up. That looks cute there. I'll just trim it a little bit to make it a tad smaller. Okay, there's that one. So I do have more to do to some of these, adding something into the holes or sewing some lace to the tops, maybe doing some inking, I don't know. But that's a good start. So before we go, I'm going to add the rest of the pages into the signatures. So these are the short pages. And the teacher's book pages and the wrapping paper. Take my sweater off. It's warming up in here. It was pretty cold this morning. I had to go out this morning for a bit. It's pretty cold, but I think it's warming up. Looks like I didn't cut that one short enough. Yep. Must be I just cut the other ones a little shorter, so I'll just do that one too. All right. I already added the extra pages into here except for the wrapping paper. One of these books has 2 book pages, or one of these signatures. But it's just going to have an extra page. I'm not going to take a page out just because it has an extra book page. So I'll use this to show me how to put pages in order. That sticks out quite a bit. I'll have to trim that. I think. Maybe I won't. This one just has the circle that I cut for the spinny thing, but then decided I needed it to be smaller. It has the hole where I poked the brad through, but I'm going to have to poke a hole in it anyway to sew it in, so I use that as a little page, but that's the only one I have like that. So I'll just put this half page in here. And then a teacher's page. I need some more half pages. I'll have to get some more half pages. I've got some more scraps I can use. I'll just put this one in. They don't all have to be the same size and shape. I will probably put some paper or washi tape down the center to reinforce that vintage wallpaper or wrapping paper. And maybe I'll put an envelope in the center. I might get, I think I have some large Mother Goose book pages that I could make envelopes with. That would be fun. Nursery rhyme pages. Good grief. I'm being very clumsy. Need another half page. I'll have to trim this to size, but it'll go in here. All right. I guess I was going to use these as half pages, but I needed some more color in there. So maybe I can tuck them in a pocket or something. And I'll need to decide what I'm going to do on the front of each signature. So maybe I will look for some nursery rhyme images from my other books, or I could put one of these pockets on the front. I have 1, 2, 3 pockets that would work on the front. So I'll figure that out. So, okay, I'm gonna stop the video and make some fabric flips and maybe make some envelopes and do some of the other things I said I was going to do. And then I'll start putting the book together. I don't know if I'll do that on camera or if the next video you see will be the final flip through. I guess it just depends on if I think I have anything interesting to show you. So I appreciate you watching. I hope that you're enjoying this little series, couple of books with the holes in the covers. I also have these that were from the leftover pages, and I cut out some of the nursery rhymes that I can use to make cards to tuck into pockets or other kinds of embellishments. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.